Alright guys, we're back at the Miata shop and got the new top. Definitely looks a lot better than the old one. Nice and clean. Seams are definitely a lot better than that cheap one. Got a little extra protection as well. Fits a little bit better. And another thing compared to the old one is that this is a zippered top. So I probably won't have to deal with those back problems anymore. And he said that he had to tighten these latches, so hopefully that makes things a lot better. But I'm going to drive this car back home, and I'm going to tell you what's going on with the Corvette. So if you guys been following me for a while, you know that I've been driving this 1989 Corvette for over a year now. And what a year it has been. I have taken this car to a whole bunch of car meets and taken it to a lot of cruises, and I've really enjoyed this car. But unfortunately, I think the time has finally come to sell the Corvette. Now, to be honest with you, I've been planning this for a long time. I actually said that when I first got this thing, I was going to sell it in a year, depending on if I really, really liked it or not. But the verdict is in, and while I do really enjoy this car, I do think it's time to let go of it. This car's been a very fun car. It's definitely the fastest car that I've ever had, which is kind of saying that all my cars are slow, because this is known to be one of the slowest Corvettes. Not the absolute slowest, but it's definitely no C5 when it comes to speed. But this thing's great. I've definitely gotten a whole bunch of looks in this thing, and I've definitely enjoyed taking it out to some of the rich people car meets and getting people to look at it, because you really don't see 80s Corvettes in this condition, and you definitely don't see hardtop Corvettes. They are definitely very rare. This thing's really good. I really had some fun with it. I've taken it through all the back roads that I can think of. I've put over 4,000, almost 4,000 miles on this car since I first got it. And that is mostly weekend driving. Now, I have had trouble with it. And be honest with you, that was one of the things that kind of soured my experience with this car. At least first. But ever since I had those issues taken care of, this car is great. The car has definitely been great. I've not had any trouble out of it ever since. Except for the things that I have caused. Now, the last thing I've ever had to do to this thing was replace the, not that. I had to replace the gas pedal, and that was my fault. That was my fault for pressing it too hard. And to be honest, I never heard of a gas pedal breaking until it did it on this car, but it wasn't bad. The L98 has actually turned out to be one of my favorite engines that I've ever experienced. It's not fast, but it definitely has character. You really do feel like an old muscle car driver driving one of these, and it definitely feels like it. It's not something that I would personally want to drive every single day, especially with all the modifications that this thing's had. But it's definitely got more personality than most other 80s C4s. This is probably the flashiest 80s C4 that you can get, other than the Callaways. Now, this thing's kind of been controversial in the Corvette community, because as you can see, it is an 80s C4, but it also has the 90s updated rear end. And that's definitely thrown a lot of people on a loop. and it's definitely gotten some heads turned. A lot of people kind of been wondering about it, but be honest, that's probably my favorite thing about this car. One of the reasons why I am getting ready to sell it is because I need the money. Now, I actually bought this car because I was driving a 14 SI, Civic SI, which is normally the type of cars that I drive, the sport compacts and stuff like that. And I've always liked Corvettes, especially the C4 and the C5. I was originally looking for a C5 when I bought this car, but I actually ended up finding this one for sale for half the price. So I really got lucky with that one. I was able to trade that Civic in for this Corvette for pretty much half the payment that I was paying on the Civic. Now, the main reason I bought this car was because it was a manual. If you guys are a part of the C4 community, Corvette community in general, you would know that only 20% of C4s are manuals. And not only that, this is also a rare combination. So not only is this a hardtop convertible, but this is also a 1989, which means you get the old 80s synthwave interior with the digital gauge cluster and all that, with the first year of the CF 6-speed. And that was pretty much all I wanted in a C4. The only thing that I didn't like about the C4 was, of course, it was a convertible. I've always wanted the regular coupe. But since it had the hardtop, I was able to compromise. I actually ended up liking the hardtops more. But my plan was to get this car and pay half the payments I was on the Civic. My Civic was $432 a month plus an extra 160 dollars in insurance. But this car, costing half of what I paid for the Civic, is $246 a month, and the insurance is only $100 a month compared to the Civic with classic car insurance. Now, I don't drive this every day. I wasn't really planning on driving it every day. I was probably just going to switch it out with the Miata, and that kind of didn't work out with with this car having so many problems at first and me not wanting to drive the Miata. So that was the original plan, just end up getting a car for less and then pay it off enough that I won't have negative equity if I decided to sell it. And now that everything that I've wanted to do to the Miata mechanically wise and also with the new top, I am finally ready to sell this thing. My big plan for the future is to finally become a homeowner, and that extra $300 that I'm going to have by not having to make payments or pay for the insurance on this thing will definitely help a lot. And not only that, to be honest with you, it is kind of weird to have this car while living in an apartment. To be honest, it really is. This is like, I pretty much have the weirdest like car collection here. I'm the only one who has 3 cars here, and all of my cars have been either sports cars or they've been turned into sports cars, and it's definitely not the type of vehicle that you'll see in an apartment complex like this, especially in a neighborhood like this. This is like one of the nicest neighborhoods in the state. So to pretty much be driving cars like this around is definitely eye-catching. But yeah, that's the reason why I'm selling the Corvette. This is all a big part of my big plan, and of course I've always wanted a C4 thanks to the type of music that I listen to. I wasn't expecting it to be the most amazing driving experience. So it actually ended up being a lot more fun than I was expecting it to be. Definitely a lot faster than I thought it was going to be, because I really thought it was going to be around like maybe a little bit slower than what the SI was. But no, this is still way faster than the SI. Probably thanks to all the modifications that it had. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm going to film one last driving video of the Corvette and say my final goodbyes. I'm going to go check it out. Not check it out. Take it to the shop that works on it, because I have been offered some money for it before. I'm going to see what they say now. And if it's enough to pay it off, I'm going to do it. It'll definitely take a lot of the stress out that I've been feeling about having all of these cars. And I can finally contribute all of my time to the Miata, especially now that the Civic's been complete. I've got the new top on the Miata. It's great. It is so great. Way easier to put on than the old one. All I have to do now is get some seat covers and get it painted and the wheels polished. And this car will be complete as well. So if you guys want to see some more content from me, like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time.